when you have tyrannical administrations creating monopolies, you end up with the less players eating each other and fighting each other. And that's the case here we have in the news this week in TechCrunch, which is one of the darlings of the venture capital world. Those are people who fight wars with money and pay off politicians. Redfin is trying to defend itself against this new real estate startup. So you might have thought the guy who was the main plaintiff in the real estate lawsuit would be a hero. You know, Henry Ford was a hero in America. Now you might say he made too much money or didn't treat people fairly, but at some level, he brought down the cost of cars and made them available to the average American, put his name on the brand and built cars. This guy, though, who won the lawsuit, the last thing he wants is his name in front because he's really a shyster. I mean, he's going to make a $400 million lawsuit settlement, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars. He's investing it in some tech startup. And already Redfin, another company that's some favorite of all the venture capitalists, doesn't pay any taxes, is out to destroy real estate agents and dishonestly. They're now defending themselves against these guys. So now you have Redfin and this other company, I think it's called Landian, already fighting, and they haven't even done any business, this new Landian company. That just tells you how I think Redfin is reading the tea leaves correctly as I am, which is the goal of our regulators, our state regulators, national regulators, Department of Justice, and the venture capital firms is to have one or two or three big real estate companies that do everything, buy all your houses through Google and Zillow. Why would that be great? Well, the answer is, you're about to see why that, I think the answer is. So here you have the result of this lawsuit. And I talked about this last week. You had a professor of law review the contracts. At the end of the day, did the lawsuit serve the buyers and sellers by making the relationships clear? No. In fact, here's this professor of law from Buffalo, University of Buffalo. Most buyer farms are complicated and confusing. Buyers will not be able to understand them and will likely get burned by provisions they don't anticipate. I see this happening already. I have very sophisticated buyers who do not understand the process, and they contact me in frustration. So what does Landian, which is the venture capital firm as a result of this lawsuit, propose to do? Oh, they're going to revolutionize the industry. So I love this. This is a typical venture capital kind of, we sit around with a bunch of stupid PowerPoints. Do you think this is going to work? We're going to sell your house and avoid the real estate agent. Home buyer beware. There's new laws. Oh, that looks very scary. And then they talk about how they make the easy listing import, they schedule tours, make offers easily, big savings. All this has been available to customers all along. There's discount real estate agents. There has been all along. But here's the funny part. When you look at their actual offering, they're going to charge customers $49 a tour. Now, anybody here who watches this, if you ever bought a house before, did you pay to go look at a house? No. They're only going to charge you $49. And I will say, I've had customers call me that I wanted to show, and I couldn't make it, and I paid a colleague $50, $60 to show a property. But I pay that as the agent. I don't charge my customer. I would never offer that to have a customer pay that. Price per offer, $199. Last year, the average buyer who closed escrow wrote 5 offers. So you're going to write $199 one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 before you get into escrow? I don't think so. Is that, do you feel like that's a good deal? Anybody here watching this, buying a house who's paid money to write an offer? No, never happened before. Now, what they do offer is that, in this case, they're showing you how much little you pay, and then they'll also offer to charge you a flat fee, I think of $1,500, which again, if you get the house, is great. The problem is not filling out the paperwork and sending it to the listing agent getting it approved. The problem is getting the house. It's working the listing agent. It's convincing to accept your offer. It's negotiating. It's getting the lender on board. It's getting the lender to talk to the listing agent. If it was as easy as submitting forms, Facebook and LinkedIn and Google would have all the real estate business. It's not, because for the most part it requires human beings. And this landing company, it's so funny. They're going to charge you to show you a property. That's been free my entire career. And that's the success. So we end up with contracts that buyers can't read. Oh, here's another one. You can't look at a property without signing a contract. The contract includes your compensation. So now you can't even go look at a property without picking a realtor, committing to them, and signing some sort of a commission agreement. I guess it's cancelable and negotiable and all that. But my point is most buyers aren't going to know that. So now you have to pay to see a property, you have to sign a contract to see a property, you have to commit to an agent with a commission, you have to pay to write offers, you have to pay for a consult. That's not progress. Now, if Landian and Redfin and Zillow and government regulators and the Department of Justice are successful at destroying the real estate agent business, if they're successful at that, then there'll be no alternative. You'll have to pay $50 to go look at a house. It should be that way. Just like when Uber Star was very cheap, and their whole existence was they were violating local laws. They had enough money, they raised enough money through venture capitalists to fight the lawsuits long enough to put out of business taxi cabs to create a dominant presence. And now they both raise their rates. And if you're a user, in my experience, lower the quality of the service. And that's what's going to happen here with real estate. They're already going to charge $50 just to see a property that was free. Last month it was free. Now, thanks to Mr. Stitzer's lawsuit, you're going to pay $50 to see a property and $199 to write an offer. Stupid. Can I just say stupid? Okay, so at the end of the day, I think it's worth paying attention to all around us as consumers. We have a choice. You know, I feel bad. I saw this local fruit vendor at 2 blocks from my house. And my wife and I used to go there. He had great fruit. But we also knew the man. We knew his wife. And, you know, we purposely used him because it was great fruit first. And we felt like supporting him. I guess we didn't do it enough because he's gone out of business. And I think at the end of the day, I want to be competitive. I want to be valuable to my customers. I want to save them money and get them houses they otherwise aren't going to get. And otherwise, I understand you're not going to use me. But to assume that it's better to destroy an industry because it'd be much better to have Facebook or Google represent you buying your houses, I think you're making a big mistake. And I think that this is the result of we have these government officials and these lawyers who've never bought or sold a house, never worked with a buyer or seller of a house, who are creating national policies without discussions, without input, and without practice, and without the earned experience and knowledge of the actual business. And it is destructive. It should be mocked. It should be fought at every bet. And here you have Redfin, who refers to the lawsuit literally in their own words as their partner in arm, because they want to destroy the real estate industry. They just want to end up being in play, along with Zillow. These are companies that do not support our country, do not support your state, do not support your community. And at the end of the day, as customers, I don't believe they give you good service. And as realtors, for sure, they don't give us good service.